Welcome to this first athletics video of the channel. Video footage will be about TSV1860 Munich Athletics Club. The age of participating athletes ranges from 9 up to 17, including beginners as well as professionals. The video content will be about a complete hurdle routine, so an explosive workout focusing on sprint and hurdle technique. Especially at fast, explosive and powerful movements, there are huge forces impacting at the body. To prevent injuries and prepare the body in the most proper way, I really like to start the training at LCLY status, which means low coordination, low intensity, and then successively increasing the intensity as well as the complexity of our exercises we are conducting. First, we start to warm up properly. So we are just starting with some simple footwork, focusing on the complete involvement of our feet by touching the ground first with our heels, then rolling down over the complete feet and finally rappelling with our forefoot. Due to athletic reasons, arms should be nevertheless used in the complete movement. It's not important to gain a huge distance, it's important to have a high frequency. Backwards we conduct relaxed running to keep the impact on our cardiovascular system high. Next exercise, skipping, is quite an advanced version of the footwork we have done before, just using our forefoot and the reflex function of our calf. There should be focus on high knee involvement up to 45-degree angle. Every time backwards again, relaxed running. The next exercise, called knee elevation run, is quite the most intensive way of the two already conducted exercises, by which we are increasing our knee involvement up to 90-degree angle, also focusing to elevate our toes. Next exercise is called cross runnings, which is conducted at both sides, focusing at a really steady upper body position, getting our involvement only by our hips and our lower body. This is an intermediate coordination exercise, which again focuses at frequency. Next exercise is quite more intense. Next exercise is called calf reflex jumps. It's an intermediate intensive exercise by jumping and barely only producing the bounce and our energy through our calves and our ankle joints, not by our knees and our quads. Following exercise is called jump runs, increasing the length and height of every of our steps while running, landing only on our forefoot and jumping with every step as high and far as possible. During the time in air, it's quite important to again focus at our toes, which have to be elevated as most as possible. Pre-last exercise will be heel to butt kicks. The last conducted exercise is the most coordinative. It's quite a variation of the knee lifting running we quite did in the beginning, but doing this exercise this time one-sided, also involving an outward rotation of our hips. Next we are going to stretch ourselves properly. Because of today's focus at sprinting, especially hurdle exercises, we are also focusing at our main muscle groups of our lower body, such as quads, calves, abductors, adductors and hamstrings. Stretching in a proper way is quite not that hard. It's only important to know which muscles you want to involve, where they are and how they are existing in which direction. Sometimes we are also involving some of our strengthening exercises during our stretching phase. We also got used to have about 15 minutes at every training session to get some strengthening training for our complete body, especially focusing at our core muscles, because such ones are the most important to get used at most of the athletics movements we are conducting. Due to the huge range of ages of all of our participating athletes, the aims of repetitions to get at are only barely set, and everyone is able to decide, depending on its own and individual skill level, how many exercises and repeats he or she will do. If you are not motivated in total, you even don't need to do any repetition, but you also have to be clear about that this will have no impact at your performance. Our aim is that even the young athletes are understanding that the training is quite not something we are forcing them to do, but it's very beneficial for their performance and health. If an athlete drops out of training, not willing to do any more repetitions or any more exercises, we are calling this popcorn hour, advising him to going to the rostrum outside of the training court. At the first hand, he or she now has not to conduct any more struggling exercises, but at the other hand, he or she is also quite aware of the fact that everyone else knows about that he was not willing to do any more exercises. So we are quite creating an atmosphere where everyone is quite motivating each other to do any more exercises and to keep on. Strengthening and conditioning phase of the training is quite now over. We already have spent about 25 up to 35 minutes of our in total amount 90 minutes training, facing now the primary and most intended exercises such as our hurdle drills. First, we are quite isolating the different movement phases of the hurdle run itself. Specifically, we are now training our so-called lead leg to go aggressively in the hurdle and having quite no fear about the hurdling movement itself. It's important to involve our upper body to get a lower position while hurdling, moving our opposite arm to our lead leg. Oops, yeah. Some of our younger athletes are so distracted by the recording camera that they nearly died by the hurdle. In the next phase, after involving our lead leg, we are quite focusing and isolating our following or our swing leg to be able to run as low as possible above the hurdle. It's quite important to keep the thigh of your following or swing leg parallel to the ground. It's important to focus at the concentric phase of leading the leg above the hurdle and not focusing at the eccentric movement, moving our leg beside the hurdle. This is only due to our training and in the ordinary situation of hurdling quite not the case. It's most important to get in a low position above our hurdles and making it hurdling or make it a hurdle run instead of a hurdle jump. So having your knee at the same height as your ankle joint. To be quite good at hurdling, it's important to have a high mobility in your hip and also a good stretch, especially in your hamstrings. Finally, we have done our isolated technique training. Our athletes, especially those younger ones, are always really happy if we have done the nasty technique part and can go and make the real hurdling. The hurdling itself is a complex movement where you have to involve your complete lower body, and if you are a professional and really running the hurdle, not jumping above the hurdle, also your upper body. The height of the hurdles is quite different and adapting due to the height and age of our athletes. In this video we have quite no hurdle specialists itself participating, only some sprinters and older age athletes, but there is already an obvious difference between our older age, such as professional athletes, and our younger ones. For the last 20 minutes of our 90 minutes training routine, we are used to do some X courses, like we call them. Today, training javelin. Throwing a javelin is quite also a very complex exercise. Therefore, again, we are dismantling the movement itself to several partial movements, starting with a really low level and then successively increasing up to the total movement itself to throw the javelin. For some new and also some of our younger athletes, it's quite too dangerous to give them any javelins, therefore they have to exercise with some tennis balls. In total, I hope this video was quite informative as well as entertaining for you, showing how I am teaching athletics at my athletics club. I would really appreciate seeing you soon below my next video. Peace out.